Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So if you are tracking the NFC playoff picture right now, you know you are witnessing. It's the most tightly packed, high-stakes volatility we've seen all season.
It's truly remarkable, isn't it? The difference between, a comfortable division leader and the team clinging to that final wild card spot is, well, it's sometimes measured in thousandths of a point.
And the sources we've been looking at show just how quickly disaster can strike. We're diving deep into the status of the Green Bay Packers and the speed of their drop.
Mm.
It's just been stunning.
Oh, absolutely. Our research notes that before that Carolina Panthers game on November 2nd, the Packers were sitting pretty. They were the #1 team in the conference.
The #1 team.
And now?
Well, less than 10 days later, after those back-to-back losses to Carolina and Philadelphia, they just tumbled all the way down to the last team in.
Wow.
That rapid collapse from pole position to, well, precarious is exactly why the NFC is so fascinating right now. So our mission today is to really unpack what that fragile position means. We need to analyze these razor-thin standings and specifically understand the mechanism of that. That bizarre tiebreaker that comes into play with Green Bay's unusual 5-3-1 record.
And then look straight at the schedule they have left. Is it even possible for them to hold on?
Right. And if they do hang on, what kind of pain is waiting for them in that wild card round?
Let's get into it.
Okay, let's start with where they are right now because it is just so precarious.
It is. Their record, 5-3-1, if the season ended today, it makes them the #7 seed in the NFC.
So they're in. But, they are just in.
Just barely in. And the scary part comes from the chasers. They are narrowly ahead of San Francisco, who's sitting right there behind them at 6-4 for that final spot.
Okay, I have to pause there. Green Bay has 5 wins and a tie. San Francisco has 6 wins. Just looking at it, it seems like San Francisco should be ahead.
That's a great question. And it's because that 5-3-1 record is so deceiving. While they have fewer total wins than the 6-4 49ers, they also technically have one fewer loss.
Okay. The loss column.
Exactly. That 5-3-1 record in the raw percentage calculation puts them just a hair ahead of 6-4. But the margin for error is, well, it's non-existent. You have Carolina at 5-5, Minnesota at 4-5. Any loss by Green Bay and multiple teams could just leapfrog them immediately.
And what does that #7 seed status immediately get them? The sources were very specific about this.
Yeah. If the season ended now, Green Bay would travel to play the Seattle Seahawks, who are currently 7-2.
Ooh.
Our research even noted, the sheer thought of that matchup is enough to make any fan twitch involuntarily.
I believe it. That historical difficulty is a very real threat.
Yeah.
So, okay, they have the chasers below them, but let's look up. How are the top seeds all shaking out?
It's all about the tiebreakers, and they are complicated.
What was the most surprising thing the sources uncovered about those top 4 spots?
The biggest surprise is how much division control matters more than just your overall record. So you have 3 teams at 7-2, Philadelphia, Seattle, and the LA Rams.
Right. All elite teams.
For sure. Philly holds the tentative #1 seed. But then you look at Seattle and the Rams, both 7-2, and Seattle gets the #2 seed because they lead the NFC West.
And the Rams don't. So even though they have the same great record, the Rams get pushed down.
Pushed all the way down. The tiebreaker is a better win percentage in division games. That single rule is why the 7-2 Los Angeles Rams, a top-tier team, get bumped to #5.
The top wildcard spot. Wow.
They're forced out of a home playoff game just based on that rule. It prioritizes divisional control over almost anything else.
That distinction is so key. Okay, so let's bring it back to Green Bay. Above them, you have Detroit and Tampa Bay, both 6-3, leading their division.
What are 3 and 4, yeah.
And then Chicago, also 6-3, is holding that #6 wildcard spot just ahead of Green Bay.
And that tiny little separation, again, it comes down to tiebreakers. Chicago's 6-3 is ahead of Green Bay's 5-3-1, largely because of that one single tie.
Wait, so the tie is actually penalizing them? How does that work? This is the kind of deep dive insight we're looking for.
That's exactly what the analysis points to. In the league's multi-team tiebreaker rules, the first step is usually head-to-head, then it's conference win percentage.
Okay.
But a tie record like 5-3-1, it just messes up the math. It complicates the calculation of that percentage so much that it's often invalid when you're comparing them to teams who only have wins and losses.
So because they have this messy record, they basically lose the ability to lean on those little statistical nudges to get ahead.
Correct. That tie against Dallas essentially negates Green Bay's ability to win on a technicality. It simplifies their fate dramatically. They can't rely on conference dominance to break a tie. They just have to secure a better final record than their competitors.
That's a huge point for anyone listening. Forget the complex math. Their season just boils down to one thing: get more wins.
Exactly. They have to create distance on their own because they can't rely on the rule book to help them.
Okay, so if it's purely about securing wins, then the path ahead becomes everything. Let's get into the strength of schedule they're facing.
And this is where it gets pretty tough. Our research found that Green Bay's remaining path is the ninth toughest in the entire league.
Ninth toughest. Wow.
Yeah, their opponents have a combined win percentage of .541. That is a brutal closing stretch.
But there's a surprising silver lining here, right? When you compare their schedule to some of the other contenders.
That's the good news. Chicago, Detroit, the Rams, Seattle.
Mhm.
Basically, the teams currently ranked 2 through 6. They all have tougher remaining schedules than Green Bay.
So the teams they need to catch are also facing a massive challenge.
A massive one. Even Carolina, who's chasing them for that last spot, they're facing the absolute toughest remaining schedule in the entire conference.
Okay, but there's bad news too, right? And it has to do with some of the other contenders, specifically Tampa Bay.
This is the major concern. Tampa Bay, currently 6-3 and leading their division, has one of the 5 easiest remaining schedules in the league.
Oh, that's a huge difference.
It's a massive advantage. Their opponents have a combined win percentage of just .447. Compare that to Green Bay's 9th toughest path. It's night and day.
So let's break down Green Bay's actual schedule. They have one soft landing spot before the gauntlet really begins.
They do. And they absolutely cannot afford to stumble. Their next game is November 16th, away at the Giants, who are struggling at 2-8.
That has to be a mandatory win.
It has to be, because after the Giants, the level of competition just spikes. There are, as one source put it, no more teams that are truly having a bad year.
So what makes that closing stretch so dangerous? It's not just about the records, is it? It's about how these teams are playing right now.
Absolutely. After the Giants, they run straight into the Vikings, a desperate division rival, then the true threats. The sources specifically highlighted the Baltimore Ravens.
Their record's only 4-5, though.
It is, but they've won 3 straight. Lamar Jackson has been playing incredibly efficient football, and their defensive pressure is way up. They're a serious informed threat.
And then there's the Broncos, sitting at 8-2. What's the specific danger in that matchup?
Our research pointed to Denver's defensive surge. Since Week 7, the Broncos' defense leads the entire league in forcing turnovers.
And Green Bay has had issues with protecting the ball in tight games.
Exactly. Facing a team designed to generate those game-changing plays late in the year is a huge risk. And of course, you wrap it all up with late-season divisional games against the Bears and the Lions.
Where the records just go out the window.
Right. Sheer rivalry just drives the outcome in those games. It is a schedule designed to test if they truly deserve a playoff spot.
So if we synthesize all of this for you, the key takeaway here is sort of two-layered.
I think so. First, the NFC wildcard race is ridiculously tight, but that one tie against Dallas mostly takes Green Bay out of the really complicated tiebreaker chaos.
Their path is simplified, but also brutally demanding. They just have to win.
And second, while the remaining schedule is challenging, it's actually not as brutal as the schedules for most of the teams sitting right above them, like Chicago, Seattle, and Detroit.
That's the key distinction. But what really stands out is that huge disparity in schedule difficulty among the other contenders.
Yeah. You've got Tampa Bay at 6-3, facing one of the easiest remaining schedules, while Green Bay is navigating the 9th toughest.
Which leaves us with the critical question as you watch this final stretch unfold. Can Green Bay, navigating the 9th toughest road in the league, actually manage to get a better final record than a team like Tampa Bay, who's also 6-3, but has a much, much easier path?
That difference in scheduling difficulty could single-handedly decide who misses the playoffs this year. It's all about accumulating those wins against the odds.
That was the deep dive. We'll catch you next time.